the international radio personality, Dr. Lorenza D. Smith, the host of Talking Real to You preview show, the only father and daughter blog talk radio show in the country.
Awesome. I am Dr. Lorenza D. Smith, the host of Talking Real to You preview show. Our show is aired at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcast on several different ways. Before I get to that point, I want to say happy, marvelous Monday to you. And also for the start of the week, for a happy Teachers Appreciation Week, as well as Happy Nurses Week. So we want to make sure we recognize those individuals because they're committed to serve our individuals, serve our communities, in a lot of cases serve our schools and do a lot of things dealing with nurses as well as school teachers, those teachers that are serving our young people and planning them, help them be successful in the future. So I'm very excited about being able to recognize the National Teachers Appreciation Week as well as National Nurses Week. We're so excited to be here tonight. We're going to be bringing you some information in regards to what our show will be all about tonight. Our title for our show tonight is How Deep Is Your Love for Your Partner? Now, normally on our Talking Real to You, we kind of focus on several topics. We know it's just plain old life issues. That's what this show is all about. We don't always just talk about political, educational, social, financial issues. We do talk about relationships. So we wanted to kind of take a little note from our show on Tuesday night, which is the Dr. Lowe Show, and talk about some of the issues that's dealing with relationship. Now, to make sure we everybody's aware how we're being broadcast, we're being broadcast through Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you're slowly joining us. We appreciate you joining us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/DRLDIberto Smith. If you're a Facebook friend of me, you would have a problem. But if you're on Instagram, because we're being broadcast through three other ways, and that's through Instagram, which is Lorenza D. Smith. You can check us out on Lorenza D. Smith 15. Then you also can check us out on Periscope, and that's dealing with Lorenza D. Smith. We do thank you for joining us there. And also, we're being broadcast on YouTube television, the Smith Way channel. So again, we're very excited about having a chance to come before you tonight on this preview show. As I say, our log is filled with a lot of things that are going on, and we want to talk about relationship. And the reason we're going to relationship tonight is that after our show on last Tuesday, we had many calls from many people that wanted to talk more about those topics we was sharing last week with you. So the title of today's show, as I stated, is How Deep Is Your Love for Your Partner? Now, we also want to know that you can tweet the show as well at Talking Real to You, at Lorenza D. Smith 15, as well as you can email the show. That's talkingrealtoyou@gmail.com. So I'm very excited about having this chance to come before you on Marvelous Monday. And for our show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, my three co-hosts that join me, and they are expert, and they have a wide range of knowledge about many topics, and they're going to share their thoughts as much. We're going to have guests that's going to call in and join us as well. So we look forward for those individuals joining us as well at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, let's kind of take this opportunity to introduce my co-hosts. The first co-host hails from Montgomery, Alabama. She's the other part of this father and daughter blog talk radio, the only father and daughter blog talk radio show in the country. And it's my daughter, Lauren D. Smith. So Lauren will be joining us as well. And I'm sorry, she just texted me a few minutes ago, and I don't want to sound I'm running away, but she had rehab today. And she's back in September of 18. She had reconstruction of knees. She had some tendons replaced, and she's getting up to 120, where she can bend in 120 degrees. She texted me today to let me know that she had that accomplished today, and she said she was tired. She said she's going to do her best, but she's really tired. So if you don't get her, she's still part, and that makes up this father and daughter tandem. And we're so proud to have an opportunity, and I am for sure to have my daughter to be right here with me and being a part of this Smith Wave production company. The other co-host hails from Greenville, South Carolina. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. As well as she's just an advocate educator. So it's important this week is National Teacher Appreciation Week. She's retired now as a retired principal up in Greenville, South Carolina. And her name is Scarlett H. Black. She'll be joining us at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And our last co-host that joins us from the surrounding Atlanta area. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, none other than Dr. Olivia E. Smith. And also I want to say that, and I know when I go into the Greek letter organization, the Divine Nine, I like to mention everybody. My daughter, she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we all are here a part of it, and if the individuals don't know, I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So I'll give a shout out to my brothers all over the country, all over the world. We're coming and we're broadcasting, and this we're doing it the Sigma way, as well as those other organizations that's joining us. So the title of the show, How Deep Is Your Love for Your Partner? And we're going to look at some things that refer to understanding how deep your love can be for the partner that you have. We're going to look at specifically defining cheating. Last week we talked a little bit about cheating and exactly who's the ones that's cheating all the time. You have to be able to define cheating. And I want you to take this opportunity to kind of look at, you may have your definition for cheating, but cheating is cheating. First of all, when we're talking about a healthy relationship, we're talking about having someone in that relationship as a partner to do two of the 5 things that we always talk about on this show. And that's be honest. If that person is not being honest, then 9 times out of 10, he's gonna or she may put herself in a situation she could be cheating in some form or fashion. Trustworthy. If the person is not trustworthy, you're 9 times out of 10, it can lead or put you in a position to suspect that could be a sense of cheating. Now, let's not just think because you get into a relationship with somebody outside of your mate, and it may be an intimate relationship. Intimacy comes in all forms and fashion. And I always say that if you continue a conversation with someone that leads you to opening yourself up, you developing a relationship with that person. And if you're in a relationship with your partner, your mate, your significant other, and you begin to develop another relationship, you can look at that as a form of cheating. Some people say, well, that's just my friend. We had a question last week on the show. We was talking about the friend zone. Should you terminate this friend zone? And truly, that's something individuals have to make sure they talk about before they decide to get into a relationship, because we're going to talk about some relationship questions later on as we talk in the show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to look at the 7 best relationship questions that you need to ask as the relationship begins to progress. You need to know what type of friend that person is. If that person is your friend, 20 years, childhood friend, whatever it is, you need to be able to introduce yourself to that person, or that person be introduced to you by your mate. Shouldn't be a problem. But we talk about defining cheating, coming in all forms, having a relationship with somebody outside of that mate that you have. You may need to make sure you understand that you're and then you don't be honest about it, and you don't be trustworthy enough to be able to share that with that individual. And I really want us to kind of understand that we can define it any way we want to. They say being dishonest, a person not being trustworthy, a person that's being sneaky, and you can say a lot of things. So you can define it the way you need to define it. And I would like for you to make sure you be a part of the show tonight. Call in, share your thoughts. Now, the call-in number for our show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time is 347-857-4192. I'm going to repeat that. 347-857-4192. And the web link for our show, which is on Blog Talk Radio, is www.blogtalkradio.com/The Smith Way Production. Now, you can listen to the show, or you can hear the show on Blog Talk Radio. Now, if you just want to share your expertise and your comments and you have a question, make sure you use the call-in number. And when you call in at 347-857-4192 and you have a question, a comment, or have your expertise you want to share with us about your definition of cheating, you just press 1 and I will identify you with the last 4 digits of your cell or a telephone number and ask you to identify identify who you are and where your location, then join in the conversation. Now, that's for our 8 o'clock show, which would be on Blog Talk Radio. We're going here doing a preview show. We stay on about 20 to 30 minutes. You can bear it. We try not to go beyond 30 minutes when we just sharing the thoughts here. And like I said, broadcasting through the 4 different networks, it means a whole lot to us. Now, understand, this Smith Way Production Company has 4 different shows, and on those 4 different shows, they're heard in 12 countries. And we're so proud to be recognized as part of Blog Talk Radio, where we're heard in 12 countries. Once you get 5, you're being recognized, but once you get up to 12, you're definitely being recognized that you're being heard all over the world. So we have listeners all over the world. So we do appreciate each and every one of them. We also want to kind of look at a question that we think will be real important is, do you think past relationship secrets should always be kept hidden? We want you to talk about it. Remember that part of a healthy relationship, and there's 5 things. I only mentioned 2, and that's being honest and being able where you can be trusted, trustworthy. But the other 3 are just important. First of all, I always say, you can't be in a relationship with someone and you don't have self-love. If you have no self-love for yourself, I just don't understand how you can love somebody else or be in love with somebody else. You can definitely say you love them, but really, it's a whole different atmosphere you're in when you say you're in love with that individual. As I mentioned, honesty, trust. We always want to focus on communication. This is a time to communicate. Why would you hide anything dealing with a past? Consider that to be a secret, because whatever is done, it's going to come out. So you need to be straightforward. If you have decided that you want to have something well beyond what we call just a associate or acquainted relationship. If you got an acquainted relationship, associate relationship, you make it just tinker with it a little bit. But when you start moving to a friendship, and we call a friendship as a relationship or a friend relationship, you need to kind of be honest with the young person or the older person or your mate or your significant other, or just be honest and let them know exactly that this is what it's going to be, and I'm going to communicate with you. Now, the last thing, part of a healthy relationship, every time we talk about a relationship, we have to talk about these 5 things. I mentioned 4 of them. I'll just script: self-love, honesty, trust, communication, and last but not least, a connection. If you're not having a connection with that person, it's hard for me to see you just going into a relationship, because if you have no connection, first of all, you'll know that in the first 2 tiers, which is acquaintance and associate area. You'll know. Because, someone may have a question, but we had a show on this about 2 months ago about, who you classify as an associate. Some people say, man, that's just an associate. I communicate with her, she communicate with me. I communicate with him, he communicate with me. Because, that. But when you get to acquaintance, you're taking the next step. I'm going to acquaint myself with you. I'm trying to get to know you. I'm trying to talk with you. I'm trying to communicate with you. So that's where I'm going. I'm moving toward a friendship where I can say we're a friend and you're my best friend. And eventually the last one is romantic relationship. If you're going to be moving toward a committed, dedicated relationship with somebody, you can't have no secrets. It just don't work. You can't hide these things. You got to come and be straight up with that individual. Let them know exactly what's going on with you. That way you can move forward. Truly let that person know how you feel and don't hold back on it, because it leads to you not being as honest and truthful with that person. The next thing we want to talk about arguments. Last week we shared some thoughts about whether or not what's the difference between an argument and a debate. You're going to sit and argue about something, and then whether you're going to debate. Now, I think it's important that you understand what I mentioned, the best debate tactics you can use. There are some healthy debate tactics that you can use. And you don't always have to get into the point where you first of all, as I put on Facebook, you don't punch below the belt. Never do that. Be honest at all times with that individual. If you want to be able to have a art, it's all right to discuss things. Please do not involve other people. Don't get your friend, don't get your parents, don't get your brother, your sister, your cousin. Everybody else get involved. They're gonna share their opinion, and they're gonna dilute what you're trying to do, and you have to keep them out. So it's good to have a argument. It says an argument in a relationship that helps or hurt. You can have just like being able to take constructive criticism. You got to be able to take criticism, and that's what part of that argument and debate might be all about. Sharing some criticism, seeing some things that might not be working right, and you got to be willing to listen if you want to be a part of that relationship. We're going to talk about that as well. Now, is it a natural part of a real relationship that you have arguments? It's okay to have arguments. We ain't talking about no knockout, drag to the floor, physically attacking type thing. We're just talking being able to communicate with one another. Remember one of the healthy things for a relationship to be successful is communication. I always say my hashtag is communicate 4 with the number 4. Understanding. Communicate for understanding. And one of the things we have to keep in mind is always you can talk to somebody, but if they're not listening, you're just talking at them. It's going in one ear and going out of the other one. But if you communicate with that person, you have a opportunity to discuss and share your point of view, then listen. One of the most important things in any kind of argument is being able to listen. You get your point, you share your point, how you feel, they share their point, but make sure you're listening. Do not get stuck on, this is the way I feel, and I don't care what you say. You can keep talking and talk to your head, turn red, blue, green. That's not going to work. That relationship is going to be struggling. You're going to have, it's going to be a tough road to go. I always tell you, if you get to the point when people begin to reveal themselves, to show themselves, one of my things I always say, run as fast as you can. Doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in. Out of the 4, you need to get out of there, because they're not going to change to how they are, because they have showed you who they are. Sometimes arguments or healthy debates lead to people showing who they are. Some people are possessive, but they keep it hidden. Their representative don't show that. Some people controlling, they hide that. They don't want to show that until they get into an argument. You'll see where they're coming from. So that's one of the things we want to talk about. Then we want to talk about the 7 best, as I mentioned earlier, best relationship questions that you need to ask as your relationship progresses. 7 questions. You may have some, and I want you to make sure you share those questions with us, because that's what we're all about. We want to hear what you have to say. But one of the things is you need to be able to ask that person, what are some annoying habits of other people or other couples that irritate you the most? If they say, man, that's crazy what they're doing on that. Man, I don't want to be in a relationship like that. You need to be listening. You need to be listening. They're telling you they don't want to do what those individuals are doing because that is not healthy for them. You might want to, what kind of parent do you think you'll be if you're at that point about having children? Just one of the things, a couple things I always talk about in a relationship, I always look for it in an individual. This is my preference. And one of the things is how you treat your family. And when I say how you treat your family, I've put them in 3 categories. And those 3 are how you treat your children. You know, if you're treating your children with the disrespect, you're angry, shouting and hollering, and just don't show how much you really care. For love is not screaming and shouting and hollering at a person, you know, and you just, just all the time, just so vicious towards your children. They give me an indication. Because if I have children, you may want to be the same way with mine. If we have children, you may want to be the same way. Next way, if your parent or your guardian or that person serves the role of wisdom, how you treat them. If you're not going to treat them in a manner, I know good way you're not going to treat me in that manner. And last but not least, how you treat your siblings. If you have siblings, if you and your family can't get along, your brothers and sisters can't get along, they can't sit until you knock out, drag out every time, that gives me an indication that because they blood is thicker than water. And if you're going to go to that point with them, I don't have a chance. So I look at those 3 things. So when you're talking about if the relationship going to progress and go further than that point, we have to ask, what kind of parent you're going to be? What kind of family person you plan on being? Ask that question. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to only give a few of them, then we're going to follow up with the rest of them tonight at the show, with the show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you are having a bad day, this is one very important. Would you want me to leave you alone or spend time with you and cheer you up? Come on now, I know some of them listeners, that all just spark you. Because I'm telling you, it's so important that if you're having a bad day at work, and when you come home, and if you bring that bad day home with you, or bring that same kind of situation, and you've been so upset at work, but you went on maintaining it, but you come home the first time your mate or significant other, your wife or your husband say something to you, you're screaming and shouting. Come on. What you want me to do? I want to know from the beginning how you want me to respond. Do you want me to leave you alone? Or do you want me to spend some time with you? Because if I'm spending time with you, I'm letting you know I want to be a part of it. And I'm here and we're in this together. That's what a relationship is all about. You know, when you decide to marry someone, there's one thing about it, your spiritual aspect must be in order too, because God have a triple core, C-O-R-D, triple core that you have to be a part of. That's you as the individual, your significant other, then God. He bring all 3 of us together to make one. That's what it's all about. If you're not ready for that, come on. If you're not ready to, do that, be alone. It's best for you not to even get into a situation like that. Now, you can't be out here being hobo sexual. Now, I know somebody going to say, what did he say? Hobo. H-O-B-O sexual. Meaning that you out here going from place to place, house to house, woman to woman, man to man. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you have made a commitment for a relationship, tell that person what your expectation is. If I'm having a bad day and I'm upset, will you just, I don't want, I'm not able to talk to you at that time. I need to get myself together. If not, I need you to sit down and we need to talk. I need us to communicate. We make that connection. Because if I know what's going on, I can help cheer you up. I can make you feel better. But I'm going to be a part of it. Just keep that in mind when we're talking about asking those questions, because you need to know. Another one would be, would you say that I understand what you are feeling when somebody upset? Is that one of the things you want to start as one of those questions? Would you want me to say that you understand what I'm feeling? Some people say, I understand what you feel. You know, I hear this, and I sometimes I get flabbergasted when I'm dealing with people, and I'm like, what are they talking about? You know, I understand what you're going through. Nah, you really don't understand what I'm going through, because each and every one of our situation is different, and most of the time, how we handle it is going to be different. Don't tell me I understand what. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know it, because you don't know how I'm feeling at this time. But I need to put that out there. You know, would you want me to say that? If you said no, I don't want to ever hear you say that or share that with me. I understand how you feel, because you might not understand how I feel. And I think that's a statement that you need to find out from the beginning whether or not that should be one of the statements used when you're having a bad day. Things are not going right, and you try your best to try to correct it, but you want to know whether you want that person a part of it, you want them to leave you alone. All right, we have one more. I'm going to share it in the rest of them. You can check us out later on. Are you friends with any of your ex? You know, that's one of the things that you have to discuss now. If you say, well, okay, I'd like to meet your friend. I like to meet your ex if you want to be friends with it. See, sometimes we be trying to dictate to people what they shouldn't do. You know, if you're so fearful of that person, then 9 times out of 10, you never get over the hump, because they'll always be there and there'll be a wedge in between. You got to be able to communicate with your mate. Share things with them or your partner to make sure the show tonight is all about how deep is your love for your partner, whether it's in a relationship, which is a romantic relationship, or a friendship, which is a relationship. You know, even with being an acquaintance, you know how deep is your feeling for that person. You know, we're hanging together. You're my partner. You know, if you got all relationship going, all forms, it don't have to be where it could be in family, because families is all about relationship. You know, friendship is all about relationship. On the job, you have a relationship. You know, you have acquaintance, just a relationship. You have something you call associate, just a relationship. And a healthy relationship requires 5 things. And we're going to close it out and get ready for our show at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And those 5 things are, first of all, self-love. You got to have self-love. If you don't have self-love, then 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to make it in a relationship. You're not going to be able to make it. You got to have self-love. You got to love yourself first. You got to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm happy with what I see. Second thing, honesty. You got to be honest with yourself or honest with that person. You also have to be trustworthy. And you have to keep that in mind, that you know you're going to be trustworthy or can be trusted. Communication is an awesome part of it. You can't communicate. You got to communicate with the number 4, understanding. And last but not least, which is connection. All right, our show will be coming on at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio. We have the call-in number for it, and we want you to call in. It's 347-857-4192. The web link, if you just want to listen to the show, you can go to www.blogtalkradio.com/The Smith Wave Production. So, you know, it's been awesome on with our preview show. We gave you the topics. We want you to join us. But before I leave, I always try to make sure I let those recognize those individuals who took time to either be on Facebook, Instagram, either Twitter. We'll just start off with this group. You know, I always say every time I start my show off, I would get somebody at the very top that I cannot see, and I'll make sure I call her name out. I can see her. And that's Nicole Brown. Nicole, she's an author. We appreciate you joining us. She had poetry, have books out, and you can go to Nicole Brown on Facebook, and you can purchase one of her books. Is Meva Pope Wright, Sandra Drayton. Sandra, appreciate you. Yvette Smith, my baby sister. Wendy Yvette Smith, thank you, little sis. Miles Brown, one of my ball players from McKenzie School, played football and basketball for me, and also went on and he's an educator. So we'll say happy teacher appreciation. You're an administrator, but you're still always a teacher. And he's now the principal of McKenzie School. Thank you, Miles. You're joining us on a regular basis, and I do appreciate the support. Preacher Man, preaching in for him. And this is Michael Clemens, another one of my ball players from McKenzie, played basketball for me down there, and he's a preacher down in Evergreen. Check him out down in Evergreen. That's Michael Clemens. Kristen Barrows, thank you, Kristen, for joining us. Shanita Arrington Mitchell, thank you, Shanita, for joining us. We also have Denise Smith Bridges, thank you, Denise. Andrea Medley, thank you, Andrea. Olivia Toomer and Katrina Felder, thank you, both of you. And then we just have Yvette Smith saying, hey, and she said, great pre-show. You can do the same thing, hit me down low. Again, you can join us on every other Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time with Talking Real to You with my co-host. We're going to bring that show dealing with how deep is your love for your partner. On Wednesday night, and I'll say this Wednesday, we have our sports show, which is Talking Sports Plus, and you can check us out 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio, and I always come on at 7 o'clock with a preview show. On Friday, we have Balling with the Doc, and I'll be on there talking about the hottest sports topics of the week. And on Tuesday, every other Tuesday, we have Dr. Lowe Show, the real relationship guru with no limits. Tonight, we're going to be talking relationship. Join us at 8 o'clock. You know, it's always good to be able to come before you. And I try to make sure, I try to share some music. When I put my music up, everybody said, man, you're always blocking us out. But I try to get some music on here all the time. And I really appreciate you all joining us. And I have to make sure I have the right one on, because I do have one that let me get it up here. Just want to make sure we want to be happy and we want to enjoy ourselves. You know, as we begin to close this show out and get ready for our 8 o'clock show, which will be coming on in 24 minutes. Hashtag is keep on grinding. Don't look back, just keep on grinding. Hashtag communicate for understanding. And last but not least, and as I work toward getting the right music on here, I want to tell you I love you and ain't a thing you can do about it. Prepare yourself for our 8 o'clock show. Call in, be a part of the show. We look forward to having you as a part of the show. And I'm just so happy. I'm just telling you, I am happy that we're being blessed with an opportunity to share some thoughts with you. But you know what? I always put this song on. It's dealing with the best days have yet to come. So make sure you're ready to join us at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time tonight. We're looking forward to you. Again, I love you. Have an awesome night from this point on. How deep is your love for your partner? We'll be talking about it.